There's a lot of traps all around me. But my mother raised me right. So I was aware of morals and principles. And yeah, I can tell you the fact that I grew up in a broken home. Yeah, I can tell you that my financial situation wasn't the best, which is what led me to steal cars and sell drugs. But ultimately, family, there's power in our choices. The stages of life taught me one thing. You can't serve two masters. And if you chase two rabbits, you won't catch either one. So the most important thing of the one thing is to always keep the most important thing as the most important thing. And do not get distracted by life's shiny things. Let me introduce myself. My name is True Kepra. True was a name given because of my commitment to supreme wisdom. Kepra means to evolve into a higher being, which is always the mission. So me being given that name is a given. So to that slave name I was born with, I say good riddance. Let's be clear. If you're going to accomplish anything worthwhile in life, you got to get rid of the fear. You got to be willing to be uncomfortable, stay committed and sincere. Now, let's get it real. I don't rap. I'm just a man that thrived the negativity, survived the negativity, and now I create positive impact. Wrap your head around that. So whatever you do, walk straight, because I lived a crooked life, but never was a grimy crook. Now look at me, a writer, speaker, author of a book, the same place that hid the keys to your freedom because they knew we wouldn't look. But they forgot to say that they didn't teach you how to read. And if they caught you trying to read, they will kill you so that you don't succeed. Now, with a little, we did a lot. We stayed close, so we went far. What some people don't get is that you don't get what you want, you get what you are. That was a form of writing, family, that we call poetry. So writing comes in many different forms and diversities for you to not only enjoy, but also to elevate and sustain your brain and ultimately your life. My favorite form of writing is personal development, or what's also called self-help writing, which is why I wrote a book called The Power of Choice, which is a personal development book because keeping it real with you, books saved my life. I'm going to say that again. Books saved my life because growing up in Paterson, New Jersey, where I'm from, 10th Avenue, East 23rd, I went to one of the worst schools in the country, East Side High School. I'm a ghost. I wasn't really educated what I think was what I needed to blossom in this game called life. The information that called transformation, because we look at information, info that causes formation, was knowledge of self and personal development. Now, my mother coming here by herself from a third world country, I didn't really have many positive male role models in my life. But I'm grateful for the gangsters that did the best that they could with the wisdom that they had. I'm grateful for the Nation of Islam, the nation of gods and earths that took the resources and poured it into the community. And the key word in community is unity. And that's what we need, because you got to remember, one of the first acts of war is divide and conquer. Let's say it again. Divide and conquer. So if we want to win in this game of life, you got to think about strategy. If that's a tool to win, then we have to do the contrary opposite to that, which is unify. Now, I called and named and titled my book, The Power of Choice, because family, I have to be honest with you. Although, yes, I can tell you, I'm from my block, lived on my block, East 23rd. So when I come outside, there's a lot of traps. There was drugs, there was prostitution, and everything else that you find in the hood. A lot of traps all around me. But my mother raised me right. So I was aware of morals and principles. And yeah, I can tell you the fact that I grew up in a broken home. Yeah, I can tell you that my financial situation wasn't the best, which is what led me to steal cars and sell drugs. But ultimately, family, there's power in our choices. My daughter blessed me and wrote the back of my book. So that's what I'm going to read for you here. Being my dad's firstborn, her name is Lanesia, by the way. Shout out to my daughter, Lanesia. Love you, baby. Being my dad's firstborn, I've watched him change into the man that he is today. He went from being a man outside on the block, going to parties, to the same man who takes us to conscious events, has a library of over 500 books. This is the Writing Symposium. And by the way, I read over 400 of those 500 books. On and about personal development, our African history. What history? Hold up. I am in front of the original people of the planet. What history? African. Let's get it. Financial freedom and more. He has helped dozens of people without even trying to. I am trying though. Using his knowledge and the tiniest bit of advice has changed people's lives for the better. My friends always ask me, what does your dad think? Ask your dad for me. This is the same dad who I sometimes saw twice a month, every other weekend, or not at all when I was a child. And then a lot of times when I was present, I was either high or drunk. So physically I'm there, but mentally I wasn't. We went through a rough patch, but now my dad is my best friend. And I know he has my best interests at heart always. I wish everyone could have a dad like mine. Lanesia, daughter of True Kepra. So, all of that is because I awakened to the fact that we have choices. And maybe your choices may not be the best in comparison to other situations, but we have choices. And as long as you have a strong desire that inspires you. See, my daughter, Lanesia, who wrote that, the back of my book, The Power of Choice, at the time that I did not love myself, my love for her inspired me to start making the necessary changes. I was facing 10 years. And it wasn't the fact that I was facing 10 years that really sparked my transformation and change. It was actually that I said, if I do a decade, I'll be honest, I was going to flee. I was going to go back to the Dominican Republic. I wasn't going to do the whole time. My daughter was either not going to have a dad because I would be in prison, or I would be dead. Because truthfully, those are really the only two options. And I said, no, I gotta break the choice. I could continue the destructive cycle, or I can make a choice in this moment. And when I went to Passaic County Community College, I struggled because when I signed up, I was taking high school courses in college, because I actually did not even graduate from high school. However, when I finally got to college, I had a purpose so bigger than myself that I was willing to go through the hardship, the trials and tribulations, do whatever I needed to do, like going to tutoring every day, so that I can change not only the trajectory of my life, but most importantly, the trajectory of my children's lives.